The EDD has updated the list of acceptable documents for self-employment situations. See link in video description. You must submit at least one form of documents from the sections listed that best applies to you. This list is not comprehensive, and other records or documents may be used as proof. Documentation does not need to cover the entire period when you are working. Providing more than one document could help support the review. Important. The documents must be clear and readable. Make sure your documents are complete and unchanged. Do not remove or cover up information needed to verify your employment or self-employment. Show your name. Submit pages that clearly show the documents belong to you. Include signatures if applicable. Submit fully executed versions of contracts or agreements that show signatures from all parties. Show a date within your required time period. The time period for which you must provide documentation is on the notice you received in the mail, in a message in your UI Online inbox, and in UI Online. Self-employment documentation. State or federal employer identification numbers. Business licenses. Tax returns or Form 1099s. IRS Form 1040, individual tax return, or 1040 SR Schedule C with business revenue and expenses clearly noted and income or loss amount provided at the bottom of Part 2. IRS 1040 Schedule 1, entry on business income or loss, line specific to self-employment income. IRS 1040 Schedule 2, entry on self-employment tax, line. IRS 1040 Schedule SE. Other possible forms. Schedule F, farming. Schedule E, partnerships. K1, partnerships. Note: if your tax return or 1099 are for the same year your claim began, you must provide additional supporting documents to prove that you were self-employed before the start of your PUA claim. For example, if your PUA claim started in 2020 and you only provide a tax return for 2020, the EDD wouldn't know if the work you performed to earn that income was done before the start of your PUA claim. You will need to provide business receipts, bank statements from a business account, or other proof, such as a signed statement explaining when the work was performed, that at least some of your 2020 income was earned before the start of your PUA claim. Business receipts or invoices. These are for items including office space, utilities, licenses and permits, or insurance. Equipment and supplies, or inventory. Employee salaries. Advertising and marketing, market research, or printed marketing materials. Legal and accounting services or website design and hosting. Signed statements or affidavits verifying your self-employment. These do not require a notary. Contracts or agreements. These should clearly identify the claimant or the claimant's business. Identify the clients. Describe the terms of the contract and specify the time, amount, and manner of payment. Bank statements from a business account that show claimant's self-employment. These should clearly show activity, income or expenses, related to self-employment activities. Be accompanied by documentation showing the claimant's relationship to the business if the bank statement is in the name of a business. Employment documentation. Paycheck stubs. These must show first and last name. Have your employer's name. Show the pay period dates or the date the check was issued. Earnings and leave statements. W-2 forms. Documentation that you plan to begin self-employment. Business licenses. State or federal employer identification numbers. Written business plans. Lease agreements. These should show the landlord-tenant relationship and be signed by each of the parties. Describe the premises leased. Specify the time, amount, and manner of rental payment. Documentation that you plan to begin employment. Letters offering employment. These must be a written offer from the employer. Show the employer's name and contact information. Have a scheduled or proposed start date. Have position information. Show the location to which the claimant was scheduled to report on the first day of work. Statement or affidavits verifying an offer of employment. These must have the employer's name and contact information. Note: the following examples cannot be used to prove your employment: an offer to consider your application or an invitation to file an application. A hypothetical question, such as, if a position becomes available, would you consider working for us? An offer that depends on a contingency, such as, if we get the contract, you're hired. An offer made by an employee who does not have the power to hire, such as a supervisor, fellow worker, or an outside consultant. Other documentation. Documentation or signed affidavits verifying your attachment to organizations such as the Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, or educational or religious organizations.